Okay, hello. Let's get this mentor session started. Got some good questions today. The first one comes from Kristen Lattis, and Kristen says, what are some of the most effective market research strategies when you have trouble getting in touch with online entrepreneurs making above six figures? The background is I am a launch copywriter for online entrepreneurs. I want to shift my messaging and branding towards higher level entrepreneurs, but have trouble getting in touch with them to ask questions. It's either I never get a reply or their assistant will say no to me. I also can't tell who makes that kind of money just by looking at their profile. Okay, Kristen, I don't think you've clearly identified who your actual target market is. I think it's too vague to say you just want an entrepreneur that makes six figures. I think that's a little vague. I would get more specific into exactly the type of six-figure entrepreneur you're looking for. I get a little more detailed. Excuse me. But I'll tell you this. As somebody who has launched and as somebody who has coached launches and watched hundreds of launches over the last 5 years, I can tell you this. If I were a copywriter for launches, one of the avenues I'd probably look at taking a look at is getting involved with other creatives. Because if I'm going to do a launch of my product, I probably need, I absolutely need a graphic designer, maybe some video people, video editing, videographer, which includes lighting and all that, a photographer. I need someone who understands the layout of a strategy around a launch page. I need someone who understands the platform itself. I need somebody who does the copy, someone who does the automation and the email marketing that goes behind it, someone who understands what happens when somebody clicks purchase and then the whole process starts. There's no one person that does all of that, and if they do it on a very small scale. I would look to network with other creatives and be the expert in the copy on the page and clearly define what I'm amazing at and why somebody would want to use me, and get other creatives to be sending me business. I would want to be that creative that other creatives say, oh, hey, John, I'm working with you on the launch. I'm working with you on, the strategy. I recommend and I would use Kristen to do this part for me. Her budget is X. She can help you get more conversions. I see a lot more collaboration with that than you going directly to someone like me and saying, let me do the copy for your page. If I had a relationship with you for a long time, or my launch strategist person who I would hire for the macro of my launch recommended you, sort of like when I'm working with someone here in the mentorship group in AO, and I see that they need branding help, and I say, oh, for the branding help, I would use this person. And they take my advice and they hire them. That would be what I would look to do, is get involved in a lot of other creative groups. Secondly, I would have a script. If you want to use social media or advertising in some sort of way in order to go attract a certain type of six-figure or seven-figure entrepreneur in order to get them to hire, it's going to be very specific to have a laid out script of exactly what your approach is in the DM, what your approach is on the Zoom or phone call, what clarifying questions you ask to determine if they are truly a qualified lead, what type of questions are they going to ask of you. I would have a portfolio that looks sharp and ready to go online for people to review. I would offer maybe some sort of quick little snippet demo, like, hey, why don't you give me one paragraph or two paragraphs or something of what you've got, and let me show you in a matter of 20, 30 minutes what my copy could look like compared to what you have, or maybe some before and afters on your portfolio. But I would have, as Tom always talks about, and we talk about here in AO, have clearly articulated perfect scripts to the entire funnel that you're creating for your business. Your business needs a sales funnel. It needs a marketing funnel. And it needs scripts all along the way. So utilize your copywriting expertise to create all those scripts. Scripts on a sales page are very different than scripts that you're going to use to discuss and talk about selling your services. A lot of times when I'm going to hire someone who's a creative like you, I'm going to talk to them on the phone, or I'm going to talk to them on a Zoom, and I can tell just talking to them whether or not we're going to vibe. So I really want to sharpen my salesmanship skills for when I get on the phone or get on a Zoom with somebody. And I want to know how to direct it to show them that I know what I'm doing, I know what their needs are, and clearly determine if there is a fit. That is something that Tom could help you with 100%. $500 to AO members for you to work with Tom 101 and have him work with you on your outbound sales scripts and overcoming objection handling scripts. Very, very important for when you're going to try to close some of these deals. Okay, but that's what I would do. I would do those two things. Hope that helps. And I'll end it with this. You've put in your question, it's either I never get a reply, okay, which is common in sales, or their assistant will say no to me. That means that you have not put together really, really good enticing scripts on how to get past the gatekeeper, how to get the appointment. Those are the scripts that Tom will help you with. These are just the game of selling. And if your expertise is in copywriting, these are some skills for you to develop additionally for your business, which is to learn how to sell your copywriting. Those are two completely different skills, right? The skill of the service you provide is very different than the skill of selling the service you provide. You have to be expert at this, and you have to be expert at selling your services. Hope that gives you a quick connection there between the two and why you might feel a little frustrated of not knowing exactly how to reach them and how to close them. All right? Get with Tom. I promise you, he will work with you and help you on those scripts. All right, next question comes from Kristen Lattice. And Kristen says, what are some of the best ways to land clients on LinkedIn other than cold messaging? The background: I am a launch copywriter for online entrepreneurs. I'm shifting towards using LinkedIn more as one of the main platforms to find new clients. I've tried using Sales Navigator before, but felt embarrassed as the system would reach out to either other copywriters or people who are clearly not my ideal client. Okay, so I can't give you expertise on marketing on LinkedIn because I have never done any LinkedIn marketing. I've always used LinkedIn to connect with other people. One of the things I've had success with when I'm going to try to connect with somebody who I want to do business with or I might want to have a client with is I do background on them. I'll go look at their website. I'll go see if they've done any podcasts or written any articles or done any blogs. And when I reach out to them, I'm very quick and concise, no more than one short paragraph. Hey, John, my name is Shawn Thomas. I know you get inundated with emails and LinkedIn, but I was listening to your podcast on such and such, and it really spoke to me. I was reading your article in Entrepreneur Magazine or on your blog, and it really spoke to me. I do this and have one line. I'd like to see if there is a fit between the two of us either working together or collaborating or something. And I'm very quick. I keep it very personable. And I would say, I read your article on this, and I'd give a little description, and then I'd say it really spoke to me. Get warmer in your leads. There are so many people that are just cold, and they go right into their sales pitch on their message on LinkedIn, and it is overwhelming. People on the other side, the prospects, we are inundated with people all day long reaching out on LinkedIn or any other type of social media platform, and it's just bothersome. Get creative. You also might want to do something using the term giftology. If I really wanted to get a hold of somebody and do business with them, I would send them by mail. And you can find almost anybody's address these days, or at least mailing address or business address. I would send them something in the mail that was creative, like Eric from Rad Exclusion Services. He sent out 20 boxes that were really customized, awesome boxes with 4 brownies that had a label with his logo. And there was a card in there that says, "Hey, Shawn," I forget exactly what it said, but then he left it with, "When you get this, would you please call me and let me know that you got it?" I surely sent him a text message and I was like, "Hey, Eric, I got the thing, man. It's so awesome." He said that his response from that was amazing. Selling is a process. It's never going to be, I just send one email to someone and they magically want to do business with me. That's not the process of sales. Sales is just like all of the time and energy and research and books and classes and training that you've gone through to perform the services that you provide. Sales requires the same amount of attention and training and detail to learn how to be a great salesperson. So that's all I can say about reaching out on LinkedIn is develop a great, strong sales process and scripts. In one of the other questions I answered for you, I said, this is what Tom is expert at. Get expert training from someone like Tom to help you with these scripts. He'll help you write a first script, a second script, a third script to get the approach, to get a phone call, to get a Zoom, and then what to say when you're on the Zoom or on the phone call. What are the top questions that people are going to ask you as far as whether or not they're going to do business with you? Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, I got to talk to somebody. Oh, let me think about it. He'll help you develop scripts to handle all of those objections, and that's how we make more money. It's how we close more deals. Okay? Hope that helps, Kristen. Okay, the next question comes from Ricardo. And Ricardo says, "What should I do to manage or track a barbershop's finances? I have a barbershop and I'm looking for a better way to track the sales per day, month, quarter. For example, the barbers get paid commission and on the hair products that are sold. Is there a system I should be aware of that I can start using in order to track these numbers more efficiently? Thanks in advance." Okay, Ricardo, I think we talked about a software that my barber uses called Vagaro, Vagaro. I would test out and see what kind of reports you can get within Vagaro or whatever type of barbershop software is out there, and then have it link and sync with your QuickBooks. And I know in QuickBooks you can draw up those kinds of reports. If you need a QuickBooks bookkeeper to help you with your QuickBooks, you're probably looking at about $700 or $800 a month for a bookkeeper for this type of stuff. But analyzing these types of numbers, which you're trying to do, which I applaud you to do, are things that are going to help you recognize the margins and also help you understand how to incentivize and make sure that the commissions that you're paying still allow for a great profit and for you to put together contests and things like that for your barbers. So I think it would be an industry-specific software to barbers to help you with those reports with a combination of QuickBooks for your total financial statements. Okay? Just let me know if you want an introduction to a bookkeeper. Okay? Thanks, Ben. Okay, next question comes from Carrington. And Carrington says, "Are lead generating funnels effective?" The background: Hi, I am a commercial product photographer specializing in e-commerce marketing for product advertising purposes. I have been reading up on marketing techniques and was wondering the effectiveness of lead generation funnels and sales funnels, in your opinion on free incentives for email opt-ins. Okay, Carrington, we talk a lot about this in AO because it's very important. All of the skills and ongoing skills and training you do to keep up to date with lighting techniques, cameras that are coming out and all the features of each camera and all of those different techniques to make your product photography business better as far as the service you provide. The same skills are going to be required in order to learn how to be a marketer or a salesperson. To answer your question, are lead generating funnels effective? Well, it depends. The worst answer that we as entrepreneurs love to get, right? It depends. Some lead generating funnels are effective, some aren't. And good marketers work full time. I mean literally full time in their company, running split tests and all kinds of different testings of different marketing to determine what kind of marketing works. It is impossible to just go, I am going to put together this funnel and it's going to make me millions of dollars and give me all the leads I want. Man, if business were that easy, man, I'd get off this live and I would just do that and just sit on my yacht on the south of France and Saint-Tropez and just let my funnel just do the work. It would just be so nice. So that's the answer to your question. It can be effective. I also think that, as you and I have talked about with your branding, continue to get better with your branding. Because if you say, for the background of your business, I am a commercial product photographer specializing in e-commerce, marketing for product advertising purposes, that is not exactly what you do. There is a much better way to explain exactly what you do in a way that entices somebody to want and need your service. Right there, I know instinctually as a business person and a salesperson, there's a better way to word that. And the reason I bring that up is when you start putting together any type of sales or marketing funnel, whether it's a marketing funnel using copywriting or a sales funnel using telephone approach, telephone meetings, in-person meetings, and you're talking, those scripts have to be absolutely perfect. You have to use the exact words that you know are going to best represent your company, that are going to move people from a buying decision to actually making a decision and doing business with you, and you walk them through. Our job as a professional salesperson for our company is to be able to walk people through the sales process and move them to a buying decision, knowing that there are going to be some people that say yes and some people that say no, but our job is to move them through the process. And the better skills we have with our scripts, whether it's marketing or sales, the higher chance we give ourselves to succeed and get a closed won instead of a closed loss. I personally, and I run AO, I don't do my sales funnels, my marketing funnels. I don't do those things by myself. And I'm really good at knowing what needs to be done. But my job is better done to hire a salesperson, to hire a marketing agency and let them get me the business. That means I need the money in order to do that, right? So in my business, if I were in your shoes, I would say, okay, what is the lowest hanging fruit of the types of business owners that would do business with me? Like, what is the lowest hanging fruit? And if you don't know the lowest hanging fruit, this is why it would be very important for you to get on the weekly Zoom with Tom and Dan. Tom, from a sales perspective, to help with those types of things. He'll have ideas. And Dan is like a guru with getting creative to work on your business model, to know how to identify and really find those people. Be on those weekly Zooms. Put it on your calendar. Make it happen, okay? Because those are the things that you want to understand. But I would go, who is my lowest hanging fruit of the type of customer that's going to do business with me? And then what I'm going to do is I am going to work my butt off for 60, 90 days. And I'm going to time block a certain amount of time in my day and week for sales-related activities, to call on new clients, to follow up with call on leads, try to qualify them as a prospect, move them through the buying decision of that funnel. And I want to track that for 30, 60, 90 days. And let me tell you why that's important. Because if I can track that and really work hard, knowing that I'm going to make some sales and then I'm going to have to spend time doing the work, imagine if you tracked that process for 90 days and you really worked your butt off and you said, this is how many leads I called on, this is how many I got a hold of and qualified them as a prospect, this is how many first appointments I did, here's how many presentations I did, here's how many handling of objection type of thing, and here's how many made a decision and what those decisions were, and you track that for 90 days. And then you track the business that you won, and you found out what the top line revenue was, what your cost of goods sold or your cost to deliver is, and then what your gross profit would be. That would then help you understand what your capability financially is of hiring a salesperson to help you in your business. And you might even be able to, if you can't hire a full-on salesperson at first, maybe you can hire a business development representative for a couple $1,000s a month, and they go out there and they call on leads and set up appointments for you so that you've got people coming into your funnel. This is what Tom has helped many of our members with. And if you'll notice, the members that have been working with Tom on their Flex Fridays, almost all of them are doubling and tripling their business because he helps them put together this entire system. And he does it at a rate that is absolutely ridiculously inexpensive for what he could charge out in the normal marketplace. He just does it for AO members. So I hope that is a long question, but let me answer the last one. In marketing, do free incentives or they call them lead magnets for email opt-ins, do those work? Yes, they can work, but over the years, like any type of marketing, people have caught on to that game and people are gamifying that, and they're coming up with fake email addresses just to be able to enter an email address and a name, click go, and then they get the free incentive, and then you don't even have a real email on your list that people are even going to open or listen to. People are on to that game. I will say that if you watch somebody might be watching this on the replay 10 years from now, but right now it's May 19th of 2021. Next week, I am launching what I think is going to be a next generation way of brand awareness and to build an email list in order to start building my funnel for my personal brand, which is Ask a Millionaire. I'm using a combination of lead magnets to entice people on stuff that they want right now, but I'm making them go through a process to get signed up to a membership portal like we have in AO so they can get access to all of it and I can start building a real relationship with them. And in order to get into the membership portal, they're going to have to enter an email address, but then they're going to have to go to that email to get their login credentials. This is called a two-step verification process. This is going to reduce the number of people that really don't want to be in my system but want the free magnet. I'm going to get rid of them because they're not going to become customers anyway. I want to attract people that really want to build a relationship and get in the portal and build a longer term relationship between the two of us. So yes, free incentives can work, but marketing is a full-time business. I mean, it is a full-time business. The more that I am looking at with this, and as I get involved in marketing of AO, the more I realize how complex it is and how much work goes into a real marketing strategy. Okay? Hope that helps. I'm going to get some other mentors to answer this too. I know that's a long answer, but I just really wanted to go into some detail there for you. Okay, the next question comes from Liv, and Liv says, what steps do we need to take to manufacture a product? The background is we want to manufacture a specific lamp. I have found a model that I like on Alibaba, but I would like to customize it further. I talked to a product design firm, Rabbit, that could help us, but it will be relatively expensive to go through them. I know you can ask manufacturers on Alibaba to customize items for you, but I want to make sure everything is done right and of good quality. Thank you. I don't have any experience with this, so I just have to kind of put myself in your shoes of what I would do if I'm in your situation. I would go down the rabbit hole of Google search, and I would just type in, find a lamp manufacturer. I mean, I'm going to do this right while I'm on the phone, right on this Zoom with you. Find a lamp manufacturer. I'm just going to go down that. And then you got wholesale lamps, lamp manufacturers. Search lamp manufacturers. Search.nation.web. So I might click on this. It's an ad. So maybe it's an ad from manufacturers. So then it pulls up all of these different sites. US-based lighting manufacturer. LED.ultravision.leadsolutions.com. Antique lamp supply. And I would just start going and calling. I would literally just pick up the phone. I'd go to their website, find their phone number, and I would start calling and say, hey, I've got a lamp that I want to manufacture. And here are some, but I got to know some, and as I go down that process, and this is my experience coming into you, my experience is I know they're going to want to know what my budget per lamp is, what type of material, what quantity, when do I want it, and I want to have some kind of answers to those questions, because that's how a manufacturer makes money, right? When they build a lamp the first time, the biggest cost is the very upfront cost of getting the molds and the initial design and everything done, building the first prototype, working out the kinks in that prototype, going back and fixing those kinks until you finally, after months and months and months, you've got the lamp that you're ready to go. They've got the molds, they've got the processes, they know exactly what material costs are and everything. And then based on that, they're going to be able to tell you, based on volume, here's your pricing. If you buy 50, it's this. If you buy 5,000, it's this. And because once they start the manufacturing line, it's a lot less expensive once they get into the line to put out 500 than it is to put out 50. It's like if you ever order business cards, they're like, for 1,000 business cards, it's $300. But for 10,000, it's $375. Because the paper, the bulk of the cost in manufacturing comes with the setup, if you didn't know that. So that's what I would do. I would go out there and I would start making phone calls and doing it. What I will tell you from experience is if you work with a Chinese firm, they will steal your idea, and it's just known to happen. I've seen it happen at least 8 or 10 times over the last couple of years as people come to me with ideas. And so I might want to work with a local USA firm, make sure that you've got confidentiality and non-solicitation, that all the work is owned by you. You'd want to get a good contract signed between them. And then once you get the lamp done, is it something that you can get some sort of patent or a design patent on it or something, so that at some point, if you do want to take the designs and bid out the manufacturing to different firms, you've got a design patent on it so nobody can steal the idea. Just kind of things to think about. But that's the route that I would take if I was going to find a manufacturer. Okay? Hope that helps, Liv. Okay, the next question and the last question here comes from Nancy Lopez. And Nancy says, should I completely pause my sales efforts while I work on jewelry product improvements that will take around 2 to 3 months? The background is I design jewelry and my first 2 collections are out. However, I was advised by a top jewelry designer to make several improvements which are necessary for the product to show the highest quality. This advice comes from someone who works with high-end designs, including commissions for profiles such as Putin. I know these improvements are necessary and valuable, and I will work on them. I'm only not sure if selling the product I currently have will affect the image of my brand. I don't have much inventory, and what I have can be improved, so that is not a problem. I believe this would come down, for me, it would come down to a cash flow issue, Nancy. If it's not going to hurt you from a cash flow perspective, because you're still kind of in the hobby stage, for you just to go ahead, stop the sales process and fine tune the manufacturing or the product improvements, then I might say, that's okay, let's do that. But if you do need cash flow and you've got designs that are there, you could make that decision. Ultimately, I think that you're in such a beginning stage of your jewelry design. And you and I have talked about this, and I don't know if anybody else that you've talked to is, but in working with Tony, who's a mentor here in the group that owns Hammett, the handbag company, what I know is that over the years, Tony and his company, Hammett, they developed what they call their core foundational products. Those core foundational products stay around forever. And it is kind of the entry of the customer journey, that a customer is going to start off with this particular type of core style, and then as they become enamored with the brand and become really involved in and love the brand more, they'll start branching off into the different other more new trends, new seasonal type stuff, and expand their line of consumption of the different handbags that Hammett offers. Might be something for you to take a look at. I'm not a jewelry designer. I don't know if there can be core products or you have to have a complete line of products. But something to think about is that, when you design your jewelry pieces, you might design a piece of jewelry, and that piece of jewelry would stand the test of time. Whether someone buys it from you at initial launch or 10 years from now, that piece of jewelry can still connect whatever the time it is. You have to decide what kind of business model you're creating. Are you going after trendy in the now, and then once it's done, that's gone? Or are you introducing a complete collection each and every year and building upon your foundational core jewelry lines? Those are some things to think about. But the answer to your question is pausing for 2 to 3 months in the global spectrum of business, not a big deal, especially with the stage that you're at right now, which is the very beginning. It's still kind of the hobby stage. You're not really busting out the seams with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and millions in revenue. So to pause just a couple months to fix some product improvements, you could look at what you've done as kind of you've been out there just beta testing and you're getting feedback from the market and they're telling you make these improvements, and you're going to go back and you're going to go ahead and make those improvements, and then you're going to relaunch until you have a finalized product that you can then use to scale the business. So I don't think 2 or 3 months is a big deal, but it really just depends on your cash flow. I would move the inventory you've got, and maybe if you move it at a discount to certain types of things, but I don't think because of the scope of the amount of business you're out there doing in the world, I don't think the brand stuff is that integral right now. You're still building your brand. And so I think you've got plenty of time to improve upon that. Okay? I hope that helps. That is today's mentor session. Thanks so much for everybody tuning in. Appreciate it. What's up, Scott? What's up, Kimberly? I hope you guys both have great days as well. And I will talk to you guys soon on the next mentor session. Have a great day.